When you look for a bank, choose a partner with local expertise and local decision-making. Veritex Community Bank offers solutions and a true business ally. We look forward to building your future. We're Veritex Community Bank, true to your business, true to Texas.
What's up to my Dallas and Houston family? It's KG Smooth, back at it once again with Veritex Community Bank for their Fund Your Future series. This is the last series as we have wrapped up Financial Literacy Month. And I'm excited about today. Excited about today because today we are going to be talking about women in business, how they started and where they're going. And I have an illustrious panel of women who are going to share their scholarship. And we're going to talk, small business. But before I introduce these ladies, some stats. First of all, we're right on point with it because this week is National Small Business Week, happening through Saturday, May 7th. And according to these stats from legaljobs.oi, Texas has more than 860,000 women-owned firms. Let that sink in. 860,000. That's I'm sure you're probably a part of that, I'm sure. And women-owned businesses generate, get this, around $1.9 trillion in revenue. I mean, wow. Women are doing it, but as Beyonce said, who run the world? Girls. So let's bring on the panel. Live from Dallas, Texas, could not be here in studio with us today. She is the SVP Community Bank Lender at Veritex Community Bank. Please welcome Darlene Ellison. How you doing, Darlene?
I'm good. I wish I was there with you all.
We wish you were here with us. We needed that energy, but that's all right. We still feel you, though. Yes. And here to my right, she is the managing partner at Trez Art and Wine Bar. Ladies and gentlemen, Chantel McWilliams.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm loving the vibrations here. And to my far right, she is the CEO of Jive Juice and Director of Entrepreneurial Incentives and Community Relations for Women of Color, the lovely Tamala Austin.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm great.
Good to see you all in person.
Good to see you.
Man. Well, thank you for that. Listen, let's get started. First, Darlene, please tell the folks what it is that you do, your job over there at Veritex Community Bank.
Well, I actually came into the banking space about 16 years ago. Prior to that, I'm actually a retired psychologist. And I actually used my psychology degree probably more than I used my finance degree in banking. But I've worn a lot of hats, but currently I'm the community banking lender here at Veritex in our Dallas locations. And I'm also the founder of our Women in Business program, which I'm thrilled that we have both in Dallas and now in Houston. So very excited.
Indeed. Now we'll come to you, Chantel. Tell us about yourself and Trez Wine and Art. If y'all haven't been up there in the Heights, I don't know what you're missing on. It's definitely one of the vibes.
Chantel McWilliams. I've been in Houston for about 10 years now. Moved here about 10 years ago to get married. I am a 10-year breast cancer survivor.
Hey.
And in that journey, I found my purpose of philanthropy. So for the last 10 years in Houston, I've been raising money for different causes. I raised about $10 million for different charities. And I have 3 small businesses in addition to Trez Art and Wine Bar.
That's amazing. Listen, I hope to get to their status to where I can just casually mention $10 million. Like it's $10. Next, I don't know. Tell us about you. And Jive Juice, one of my favorites.
Yes. Well, I'm Tamala Austin, the owner of Jive Juice Company. I'm also the Director of Entrepreneurial Initiatives and Community Relations at Houston Community College. We are the first African-American female juice company to be both in Whole Foods and H-E-B. So we are excited.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I was telling her every time when I get done working out and I go to H-E-B to give them a little berry medley pack, I stop right there, right at the front door where they got Jive Juice, grab me one and get my fruit and head on. So thank you all for being here. You too as well, Darlene. So now, Chantel, for you, my love. Tell us about your journey to becoming a managing partner at Trez. Now, we know that you have a heavy
Yes.
philanthropy background, but tell us about the transition into entrepreneurship. How was that?
It was quite different, moving from philanthropy to entrepreneurship in an industry that is so unique, right? Hospitality industry is an industry that requires a lot of hard work, dedication, and creativity, which is also what's required in philanthropy. And when you're raising money for charities, it's the same tools you need to be successful. So the transition was seamless for me. It just was a matter of making sure that I knew how to tap into the culture a certain way to motivate people to come to my business. There's so many different businesses. So just finding a very unique niche and making sure that we did stellar service, great food, beautiful ambiance. We have art on the walls from local artists, out of our wines and boutique, out of our cocktails and craft. I was just talking to Tamala here about doing some mimosas with some of her jive juices. Just finding very unique opportunities to be very, very different in an industry that's just so varied.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's been great success. I mean,
It has.
Houston has grown so much in the last 10 years.
Oh my
Really in the
God.
last 3.
And we survived COVID, which is amazing. And really, during COVID is when we really, prospered more.
Wow.
Because a lot of places were closed and we were open, and so we were able to say, "Come see us, come see us."
Man, it's amazing to hear these kind of stories because the powers that be would have us think that the end was coming with COVID, but there were so many small businesses that were created out of this pandemic, and business was still booming, especially for small businesses. So, Tamala, tell us about your business and what are some of the financial steps you took when starting your business. I mean, did you save up? Did you have a loan from the bank? Did you apply? Did you get grant funding?
One of the greatest things about my story with Jive Juice is that I started while I was still working in corporate America. I'm an accountant by trade. I've been in oil and gas for over 20 years. And I started doing my business kind of like a hobby. So after work, I'd go home and juice and make different recipes. And I did it at a time when I was laid off from oil and gas, and I found myself without health insurance. And as a single mom, I needed to find a way to circumvent my income, to stay afloat, and to help with those health challenges that I was having. And so I found through juicing, during my research, that I was able to combat the health issues that I was facing, as well as by using social media to start a business that was now here in HEB and Whole Foods, and had no idea of doing this. I was okay with just being the small and mom pop company, selling online, making orders, delivering to 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. But I used my money from my 401k and generated and started and went from there.
Wow. So she used her money from her 401k to get Jive Juice started. So Darlene, you were so excited talking about Veritex Community Bank's networking program, Women in Business. Tell us more.
Well, I founded the program 16 years now, which is crazy to even say out loud. And I actually came from, it seems like we're all we transitioned at some point in our lives, all three of us. And I was an entrepreneur and had been for over 20 years. And when I came into the banking world and the industry, I wanted to do something that was a community outreach for women and meet women where they were. And, just kind of looking at how I functioned as an entrepreneur and about, all of us women who built businesses, it's about building relationships. It was about building friendships because we knew we were loyal to our friends. And so we would in turn do business with those women that we were meeting. So I wanted something unique, something that was diverse, something that was inclusive and not exclusive. And so kind of put together these different little parameters for these socials. I don't even really like the word networking necessarily, but that they're socials. They're women coming together with the mantra of make friends first and the business will follow. And then setting that tone and that culture at all of our socials. And thus Women in Business was launched 16 years ago.
Nice. And so I can feel that there's kind of like a bartering system amongst the women who are a part of this program with certain businesses like you need this, I provide this, and maybe we can collab here and do it like that. Is that
Oh,
kind of how it works
definitely. And
better.
and you know what's interesting, KG, is it's not even just about the doing the business together. There are women that I'll see on their social media where this group of women are all on a trip together. And I'm like, hey, I didn't know y'all were all friends. And they said, oh, we met at your networking. So, creating peer mentoring, creating, friendships. And then that business does come along. Charitable work. I mean, these women, they'll come together and say, hey, if you do this and I do this and my business does that, let's come together and let's raise some funds for this charity. And it's just been it's exceeded expectations. I never expected that we would be here talking about this.
Nice. So to stay on that same wavelength, Chantel, what were some of the ways that you have partnered with other women-owned businesses that help you grow?
I am extremely biased to women and women-owned businesses. I love supporting women, and so there have been opportunities where I love to say, hey, if you have a product, if you have another small business, I want to give you a pop-up opportunity where you can come into Trez Oil and Wine Bar. You don't have to pay a fee for anything. I will help people come in so we can make sure that we give you a platform. So Trez is designed to give other small businesses a platform because it's a community. We can't do it by ourselves. So it's important to include the community as well as other small female businesses. And it was an opportunity where I saw a young lady, it was called Cards for the Culture. Hi, Kendra. And so she had her own greeting card line, and she just had them in her purse. And I said, why are you walking around giving people selling greeting cards out your purse? Let me give you a platform. Let's do a cute little pop-up, pair it with wine, invite your friends out, get a great display, and let's really show your business in a different way. And so from that opportunity, more people began to say, I want to do one. But it was me not just ignoring what she's doing, but seeing what she's trying to do and giving her an opportunity.
And man, that camaraderie, that is what's important. I mean, to have some sort of mentor, if you will, to help guide you through when you are first starting off with your small business. Yes. So, yeah, this very much needed. Community. It's all coming back to community and togetherness, and a Veritex Community Bank, and that's what the community stands for. The togetherness. Yeah. So, Darlene, tell us why networking is important among women in business. Like, how valuable is it to share your stories or ask for help?
Well, and I love this question because I always say, I'm not really a fan of the word networking because I feel like women have this idea in their head of what networking looks like. And it's pushing your business card into people's hands. And it's only for people who are outgoing and are okay in a big room. And I don't view it that way at all. To me, and even when I'm mentoring younger women who are future women in business, it's about focusing on the mind shift. Really what you're doing is making friends. Really what you're doing is building relationships. We as women are really good at putting together our friends and our relationships and saying, hey, let's try this together or let's do that together. And I think sharing the stories, I love the aspect of sharing the stories and mentoring each other, because to me, we've heard, I think as women, we've heard a lot, you got to pull your chair up to the table. You got to have a seat at the table. And I think we have seats at the table right now, but we also have to have a voice. And I think when we're sharing our stories with each other and we're talking and we're mentoring and we're asking for help, the three of us here today, we love supporting women. We are loyal to those friendships. And so to say, I need help, and to also say, how can I help you? I really think that's what these women in business groups are all about, and being small businesses and just being supportive of each other.
Have any of you all ran into a situation as to where maybe you yourself or someone you could feel their energy that they might be a little too prideful to ask for help, and you could sense that and then maybe offer a hand or a word?
Yes, I always tell people I look for the star in the room. And the star in the room is usually a silent person that's very ambitious and tenacious, but they're silent. And I can tell a person's energy. And so I'll just walk up to them and have a conversation. And I say, hey, do you have any, what do you do for a living? Then they usually say they're a small business owner. And I said, I would love for you to do something at Trez. Have you thought about doing something, partnering with us, collaborating? So I give them the opportunity to say, this is what I want to do for you. But I do look for the star in the room.
And to think that, going back to a school setting, that there are no dumb questions. And you encourage people to ask questions. You're in the room with some nice, amazing women who have all had to go their journey, who are willing to share and wanting to share it with you, so you don't have to feel alone. I think that's one of the biggest things when I think about comes to networking. Just to be in the room with someone else who has walked their journey may not be the same as mine, but just being able to feel the warmth, feeling the closeness, to feel that collaboration of having other sisters around you, other women around you who have also walked their journey. Because being an entrepreneur and starting a business is scary.
Yeah, I bet it is. How about you, Darlene?
And I listened to both, Tamala and Chantel, and, it strikes me that we're all the connectors. We have these, you'll have a room filled with women. And, I loved how Chantel said, I look for the star. I think that we're there connecting and we're there encouraging. And these women, we set the tone when we're in these rooms, right, ladies? And we get to set that tone. And I even say out loud, I'll say, who is brand new here tonight? Who has been here for a while? Look at each other's hands, go talk to them, go encourage them, be loyal to them, ask them about their business, ask them what they need. And when we as the connectors set the tone, then that's naturally what happens in the room. So I love what they're doing.
I love it. So tell me what's next for you and your business.
Well, we are definitely looking to broaden our business and expand as we're looking to get outside of Houston, Texas, and surrounding areas. We're definitely looking to go nationally, so we're working with a couple of other retailers that are going to help put us in that space. But most importantly, the biggest thing that I'm excited about is just being able to share my journey with the women that I mentor through our HCC program, Open for Business, and sharing that has been the most fulfilling and rewarding thing, is being able to not only give the women the theoretical side of it, but also the practical side of it. Yes, I've gone back to school to get my master's in entrepreneurship, but there's nothing like having the firsthand experience of it. And so it allows me to share that.
Tell us more about this HCC for women starting a business. I mean, that sounds like a class that everyone should sign for, especially if you want to be a business owner.
And you're serious about it, yes, definitely. We have put together a program at Houston Community College that is allowing us to help women, celebrate women entrepreneurs. And so we're excited about that. So if you're interested, all you have to do is go to our website at hccs.edu/OFB. And we're there to help you.
I'm going to have you say that like 3 more times before we end that, so everybody can get that knowledge, especially if you are looking to be a business owner. I can't believe that this is the end of my script. I feel like there's so much more that we could talk about this afternoon, like the biggest misconception that people have when starting a small business. I just started a little something. I have my own wine, Quiet Storm Island Vibes from Scotland. But I have.
This is my first time hearing this.
Yeah, I'm only 6 months old. But I'm learning, how this business thing really runs and works, and it is it's some work. I'm glad to have a business partner, but I didn't have this misconception, but I know a lot of people do. They think that the money's going to come like that. And I remember when I was doing radio back in Cincinnati, back in the early 2000s. Oh, Lord, I mean, age myself, but no, the guys of FUBU, they did an event with the radio station and had some high school kids and was talking about entrepreneurship and telling their story and whatnot. And it was, I think it might have been Damon that was like, well, look, when you start, you're not going to see the money until your 3rd year of business. Once you're in business after that 3rd year, then that's when you're going to see, the money rolling in. Did that apply to you all as well?
Absolutely. And especially during COVID, the prices of food went up 25%. There was a champagne shortage, and so there were so many obstacles. And then the staff, I am now responsible for making sure that 15 people are paid and have their livelihood accomplished. And so that's also a burden that people don't think about when you have another small business, that you're responsible for other people's livelihood. So it's very, very important to know that you have to have some seed money to start and be really, really smart about that seed money, not try to look like you're successful, but to really do the work and be successful. Yeah.
And I'll add to what said, that two of my favorite two words, delayed gratification. In the beginning, we want to, amuse ourselves with all these different types of things and the lavish and stuff like that. But I'll say this, I've been driving my 2010 Honda Pilot, and she's still going with over 400,000 miles on her.
But she's still
going. And it's like delayed gratification. It's just because you're starting a business, we have this misconception idea, okay, I'm going to get a new car, I'm going to get a new house, I'm going to be less money packing, go buy me a Louis purse and all that. Then you're not in business. You're not going to be successful at all.
I totally agree.
Darlene, will you add your scholarship to that?
Yeah, to me, I think that a couple of them come to mind, a couple of things. The first one would be, don't underestimate the importance of building relationships from the beginning. I see so many newer businesses, entrepreneurs going, well, I'm going to put this in place and get this in place and get that in place. And then I'm going to tell people about my business. And I always, tell folks, actually, build those relationships from the get-go. Tell people what you're doing, what you're creating with the same intensity that you would be creating your collateral marketing pieces and your website, and tell them the good news as you build and grow and put things in place, because then suddenly you open your doors and you already have the initial customers, if you will. And I think the other one, as a banker, I'm gonna put my banker hat on here for just a moment, but a lot of people underestimate the importance of a banking partner, and someone that you can talk to, someone that, a good banker, A, their name, and B, they actually will sit down and say, hey, let's talk this through. What does this look like? What kind of financials do I need to start? If I need a loan 2 years down the road, what do I need? And so I think it's important that those are all moving pieces. And I know starting a business can be so overwhelming at first, but there are a lot of different pieces and a lot of different people that want to help.
I like that. And I think the bar for me and what you said, Darlene, was relationships. To me, that's the highest currency.
Like, I didn't know you had a wine.
Yes,
Relationships.
That is the highest currency to me. So, for the three of you all, someone that's, say it's, I don't know, Katina Joe Tires. What are the first three things that Katina needs before she moves forward with starting this business?
I'll jump in.
Wow, did I stump y'all?
I always say a banker, a lawyer, and a CPA. Because those three individuals, and then you don't have to go paying a lot of money for that. Like, that's why we have these groups and these opportunities for women to get to know each other. And it's hey, do you know anybody who, banker, lawyer, and CPA, who can just guide you and say, hey, think about doing this instead of that, or you might consider becoming an LLC from the get-go, and here's what you would need to do. It's really simple. And I really feel like those are the three things.
Okay. I like that.
And then I would add that, having a vision, knowing your why. What problem are you solving?
Okay.
With your product coming out with the tires. I mean, what are you planning to do with this, and how is it going to help solve problems?
And I would say social media is powerful when it comes to being very successful. And myself, I had to learn to really put myself out there more with my business. Mm-hmm. I felt like the business had to be perfect before you invite your friends, your social circles. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Just put it out there. Hey, this is what I'm doing, and put it out there on social media. It took me a long time to feel comfortable doing that. And so I think that probably was a hindrance in the beginning. if I was more open to doing it in the beginning. So that's a lesson learned that I would love to transfer that knowledge. Just put it out there. This is what I'm doing. Come and see me and become really savvy on social media. Really learn how to maneuver with the Facebook and Instagram ads and learn everything you need to know so you can do your own social media in the beginning, not have to pay someone.
Yeah.
And knowing
because it's a job within itself.
It's a
Yes, yes.
I'm a public figure. I'm constantly worried about, I need more content so I can post and all that. It's like,
And I share with our students, that's how Whole Foods found me, was on social media. Me
Well,
doing my
look at
own videos in my
own
kitchen,
videos,
not perfecting, just being real and transparent and being consistent.
right, and that's it.
Yeah.
Consistency is king,
Yes.
but content is queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Love it.
bar.
Oh. well, thank you. Any last words, ladies? I mean, this was amazing today as we wrap up Financial Literacy Month, which was last month. But you can never stop learning. You never stop learning, especially when it comes to this money and how it can help fund your future for a better life for you and your family. So, any last words? I'll start with you first, Darlene.
I would just again encourage the mind shift of it's not about networking. It really is about just building friendships and being loyal to that and connecting women to women and mentoring with each other. And remember, it's not just about having a seat at the table. It's about having a voice, and your story, whether you know it or not, is going to help impact, lend a hand up to another woman. So keep sharing.
I would say don't allow fear to stop you from reaching your goals and dreams. A lot of times we're so worried about all the 99 chances that it won't work. But what about the one chance that it will work?
I love that, because one of my new sayings I tell people now: do not consent to fear. Do not consent to fear, because it's false evidence appearing real.
And of course, I would say find a mentor in your industry. Find someone who is very successful and pursue that relationship. A lot of times we don't want to pursue the person that we see as a very successful person. I'm a person who I will pursue the relationship, pursue that person and ask for that mentorship and be very, very transparent about that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. Darlene, Tamala, Chantel, listen, that was some great gems. If you got to go back and rewind to get that and write some notes down, you need to, because gems were dropped today. We was given some free game and it was great energy. So we want to thank you to all of our Houston and Dallas family, especially to our Radio 1 Dallas family, 94.5, Magic 94.5 and 97.9 The Beat. And of course, Radio 1 Houston, 97.9 The Box, Magic 102.1, and Praise 92.1. We will see you next time. Hopefully, Veritex Community Bank will have me back as another host and moderator for their next series that they have. So until then, you all take care, be safe, and come back to these videos whenever you need that knowledge or some tips, because we had real people that are doing this in real life, from the real struggles up into this real time where they're making that real money. All right. So, stay with it. Thank you, ladies, so much. Gratitude to you all. And to all of our Houston and Dallas family, I'm KG Smooth, and I will see you on the radio.
You look for a bank, choose